Hi guys, so today we're looking at a full face worth of Primark makeup. Almost. There's 2 or 3 things that I'm using that aren't Primark, but I'll explain that as I reach them. So I'm going to start with our lip scrub just because my lips are feeling a little bit dry and I think they need a little bit of help. So I can't remember how much this was. I feel like it was £2 or £2.50 and you get 10 grams for that. It is a sugar scrub and it's got a nice moisturising base. So what I do, scrub it on, dab off the sugar, and you're left with a moisturising coat while you're doing your makeup. So, very first product after that, I'm using my NYX eyeshadow base still. I have tried the Primark primer, been there, done that, hated it, not buying it again. So, you know, I'm still using a relatively affordable one, but the Primark one just didn't cut it for me personally, and I've got a video on that separately. So, so I bought an eye palette from their kind of fall Saint or Sinner collection. This is really cool packaging collection. So I've got an eyeshadow trio that was £3, and it's in this kind of quite classy looking packaging considering it's Primark. It's got a reasonable sized mirror and it's got these 3 plum shades. There was also a blue smoky version of this palette, but I preferred the plums. Now as you can see, we are missing something that I can use as an all over brow colour. So 2 in a row, I'm cheating, and oops, I'm just going to use my usual Makeup Obsession. Still very affordable, it's a £2 eyeshadow, so you know, we're still not breaking the budget even if we're moving away from Primark for various reasons. So I just didn't see anything. I know Primark have the individual shadows, but for some reason my store only had 2. And it was a dark purple and a dark blue, so not very helpful for the brow bone area at all. So yeah, that's the last cheating for a while, I promise you. So I'm just going to grab a couple of fluffy brushes and an eyeshadow brush. So I'm going to use all 3 shadows because, you know, it's just a trio, there's no point in leaving anybody out. The dark shade is nice and matte, so we should have a good crease colour in there. Nothing for a transition colour, but we're just going to work without it. So, first I'm going to pick up the middle shade as my lid shade. It's this deep shimmery purple. And let's see how... Ooh, that is pigmented! I did swatch these yesterday, but it was finger swatches, so I wasn't sure how well they would go with a brush. But man, that is a pigmented foily metallic. How pretty is that? Okay, there is a reasonable amount of fallout. I have to admit that's quite a lot of fallout. Although I did forget to tap my brush off, I think. So let's see how we do once I tap the brush off. Okay, I have to say this formula is really smooth. It's going on really metallic and really pigmented. And now that I've remembered to tap my brush and not rushed in excitement, I've not got fallout on this side. So, whoo! That's such a nice rich colour. Okay, so I'm just grabbing a 217 brush and we're going to go into that matte crease shade. Let's see how the matte one does. The matte one had a nice rose embossed on it, the other ones didn't. I feel kind of bad messing that up, but whatever. So this is kind of like a cooler purple than the lid shade, which for some reason I've just dunked my brush into because I was talking about it. Do you ever do that when you're talking about something, you end up doing what you're talking about instead of what you're meant to be doing? I used to do it when I was writing if I said something to somebody, I would end up writing that word instead of what I was actually trying to write down. So needs a little bit of extra help blending, but that's not particularly surprising. Oops. And apparently that brush was dirty. Okay, I'll fix the eyeshadow later. Crabby pets. But for essentially a £1 matte eyeshadow, I think this is actually going on really, really nicely. It's pigmented, it's blending, it's smooth, and again, I'm not getting a lot of fallout on this one, which makes a nice change. That edge just blends out really nicely once you go in with a blending brush. So I'm just going to build that out a little bit further to match the other side. This is definitely not a traditional summer daytime look, shall we say. And I'm just going to quickly wipe away that small amount of fallout that I have. Okay, and just going to quickly correct that mistake that I made. Right, so got a much smaller fluffy brush, and I'm just going to go into that end shade, and I'm going to use it as a bit of a brow bone highlight. The reason I'm using a loose fluffy brush is it is quite a pigmented shimmer, so if I went in with a pencil brush I would possibly end up painting my brow bone lilac, which I'm not really into doing. And I'm going to use that in the inner corner of my eye once I'm finished with foundation and concealer and things like that. So far impressed with what I have purchased and no longer need my eye brushes. Okay, so while I didn't buy a lid primer, I have bought a foundation primer. Sorry, I've got a box of all this stuff down here. So this is the Stay All Day Primer, which says it extends the wear of makeup and smooth skin to create the perfect base for makeup, and it's £3 for 30 millilitres. So I seem to have picked up one that somebody has used in the shop. Just should have checked. But I guess it's a tube, it can't be that unhygienic. So there is a little metal seal, but it had been pushed aside. So give it a quick check, it should be sealed. So this is a weird texture, it's very runny, some of it's kind of separated. Just fell off my fingers onto my hand. So as I'm actually rubbing it into my skin, it's definitely taking on more of like a silicone-y thick feeling, which does give the impression it's going to really grip the foundation, which we want. Doesn't really smell of anything. And I think that was the right amount to actually squeeze out as well. Go me! Okay. So foundation wise, no surprise. It's actually a Primark foundation that I use every single day. The My Perfect Colour Matte Foundation. So I'm just going to quickly get some out onto the back of my hand. Get some on my brush. Now, I have a huge love for this foundation. I've done full videos on it. They got rid of it for a while and I got upset and I tried what I thought was its replacement, and then I found this back in the store a couple of weeks ago and was genuinely happy. So I just think the coverage on this is really nice. It's actually lasts really well on my skin, and my skin is pretty oily and problematic. I actually switched from using the Urban Decay All Nighter straight to this foundation, and you know, that's kind of been me since, apart from that brief period when it wasn't there. So as you can see, it just blends on really quickly, gives really nice coverage, it's buildable, and it's semi-matte before you set it. So that is pretty much everything I want in my foundation. So yeah. Okay, so I didn't buy any colour correctors because, to be honest, the only one I really use is an under eye one. I couldn't see any. So we're just going to skip that step and go straight to concealer. I tried the liquid concealer when I was trying the other foundation that I thought replaced this guy and didn't really enjoy it. So I grabbed a stick concealer this time. So this was a grand total of 90p, so if this does work, I will be delighted. If it doesn't work, I'm probably not going to be shocked, let's be honest. So this is in the shade Porcelain, and I'm just going to... Feels nice and creamy. Possibly a little bit too creamy, we'll see as the day goes on. And then I just always do that bit on my forehead for a little bit of extra coverage, slight highlight. Okay, that blends out nicely. That's good. It's been quite a while since I used a stick concealer. Really moved towards liquids and, well, thick cream for the Kevin Aquan one. I don't think I've used a stick concealer since I was, well, doing that tester video on the witch one. And oh, when Urban Decay had the concealer pencils, that would be the last kind of stick concealer that I really used. And that has been a while. That blended out really nicely. I think it's actually coped okay with my under eye circles without a corrector. Just nice. Okay, I'm totally fine with that. So, interesting powder situation we've got going on, okay? This is from their workout range. So I'm not a fan of the whole wearing makeup to the gym. I don't think it's good for your skin. This is supposedly sweat resistant mattifying face powder. I got the translucent shade. It is $2.50 and you get 10 grams. So this is another thing I haven't used in a while, pressed powder. I've been all about the loose powder. So let's see how this goes. Okay, that feels nice and silky. It's just going to zoom you in. It's possibly a little bit chalky. Like, not too drastic, but you know, if you had paler skin than me, it might be a little bit too much, but you know, I guess it depends how much you use. But I just used a really light fluffy brush, and I feel like I've got quite a lot of it going on. So I'm just going to quickly go back into the eyeshadow palette and finish the inner corner like I said I would. So I'm just going to get a pointed, supposedly concealer brush, but I don't like it for concealer. And just kind of brighten up that inner corner area. I don't really want this to be a tear duct highlight because it's got too much pigment for that. So what I'm going to do is reach into my highlighter as well. So this is £3 and it's called a Mink Pink. And how much am I getting? 9 grams. So I'm just going to quickly clean off that brush. That's not got a mirror in the lid, silly Billy. And then just kind of lighten up that area. So it's a very metallic one, not everybody's cup of tea for an inner corner highlight, but I quite like it. So, my choice. Yay! So next product is the last thing that I didn't buy from Primark, and it's my contour. So I just couldn't find a contour that I liked in Primark, so I'm just using my Makeup Revolution Duo, which I think was about £3, so still nice and affordable. And I feel like lots of the ones I saw in Primark were quite warm toned, wouldn't really work out for me, so I just left it. But still sticking to the same rough price range, so hopefully that's okay with you guys. Might want a bit strong on that side. Anyway, okay, so I actually picked up 2 blush options. I decided against one of them a few minutes ago. I got this cream cushion blush, but I think that would be a bit too much with the eyes. And I picked up this high pigment powder blusher for £1.50 in the shade Desire. So let's get this open. So you get 4 grams of product for £1.50, and it's just this peachy, pretty peach colour. So that kicks up a lot of dust, but I did just dig in with my brush, and I don't know why, because I have no idea how pigmented this is as I go battering into it. But I would say it'll be quite loosely packed compared to some blushes that I've tried. And ooh, it's quite shiny, isn't it? It's a pretty colour, but I think I could do with slightly less shine in my blush than this is giving. Yeah, that's not my cup of tea. I look like a doll. Where's that powder? Right. Just going to take a tiny dab of the powder just to kind of bring that colour down, bring that shine down. Okay. And then I'm going to be quite light with the highlighter, given that the blush itself has got that sheen going on. Okay, so moving back to the eyes. Oops. I forgot to put the lid on the concealer and it just knocked it over. So I saw this duo set thing in the Saint or Sinner collection, and it is a mascara, eyeliner and winged eyeliner stencil, my favourite friend. So this was £3, which I thought was a really good price for what you were getting. So let's bust it open and see what we've got. Okay, so mascara's got the same kind of black tube that matches the eyeshadow palette, which is nice. And then we've just got a plain liquid liner and the wing stencil. Now, I don't see myself using that one. That's a bit dramatic. Oh, there's a double one. That's pretty. Now, I'll play with it another day, I think. I'm actually going out today and I need to be ready. So it's a liquid liner with a brush, which is not my forte. It's been a while since I used one of these. Ooh, it's very black though. Sorry, I'm terrified if I talk I'm going to mess this up more. Okay, wow, okay. So I'd say there's quite a lot of product in the brush when it comes off. It would maybe be easier if you dabbed some off on the side, because I never re-dipped and done my whole eye. But you do get a reasonable amount of playing time before it sets down, which is helpful. Pick up some of that product that I'd wiped off. Oh, too high, too high, too high. Oh Jesus, I just went higher again. Okay, so they're now completely different thicknesses. Quickly even things out just a little bit. So this seems to have dried down really, really matte. Almost so matte that I don't like it. 2 seconds while this dries and I will zoom you in to see. Like, it's so matte that it looks really dry and it kind of, I don't know, clashes against the shadow slightly. Don't know. Personal opinion, not my cup of tea. Maybe with like matte shadows it would look really, really cool, but it just kind of clashes against the shadow and it doesn't look as dark as I think it would if it was a bit glossier. So let's have a look at this mascara. Doesn't tell you much about it, does it? Nope, it literally just says mascara. It doesn't tell you if it's volumizing, lengthening. Take your pick. So I'm going to go volumizing just on that brush, because that's what people normally use the kind of hourglass brushes for. Given like the name of the collection and the fact that it comes with like a winged liner and stuff, I was expecting a bit more drama from that mascara, and I'm not getting it. I mean, I wouldn't normally full on wiggle a brush into my lower lashes, but I can do it with this one. Oops. Although even that, look, I smacked it into my cheek and that's a small amount that's actually transferred. I definitely think this mascara could have went into the Saint side. Okay, once you work with it for a while, it builds up, looks okay. Really like it for my lower lashes, surprisingly. Pigment wise, it is a really nice deep black, but I'll zoom you in just so you can see what I'm on about. It almost jars against the eyeliner as being a different shade of black as well. So that's a bit strange to me. Yeah, because they're in a set. You would think they would look the same once they're on, and they don't. So, where have you gone? Brows, I just grabbed a pencil. This is in the shade medium brown, and it cost me £1. So, I'm just gonna... Okay, that plastic wrapper seal does not want to come off, but I've managed to uncover the two business ends of the pencil. So we've got a spoolie to kind of brush things through, get things where we want them, which I think is something I need to start doing with my brows. I feel that they're looking more and more uneven, but up at the top where I don't pluck them, so it's kind of frustrating. I don't know what to do with them. So it's just a normal sharpening pencil. It doesn't come with a sharpener in the lid, which a lot of them do now, which, you know, it's £1, what do I expect? So the next shade I could find up from this was, I think, called Granite, and it looked grey. So it's been so long since I've done my brows with a pencil as well. Today is a day of going back to things that I haven't done in ages. It looks okay. Colour wise, it's actually alright. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell now that I've dyed my hair, but it looks like it's a good shade to go with my natural brows, even if I can't compare it to my natural hair. Okay, I'm going to pick up a mirror instead of using the viewfinder, because I don't find using the viewfinder very easy as a mirror, because it's kind of weirdly off center, as in like if I lean in close to it, what I'm working on actually kind of goes out of it, because it's beside the lens. So close up, this is possibly a little bit too warm, which I did think about in the shop, but I didn't want to go grey. So just brushing back through with a spoolie because it was looking a little bit blocky. Not the best eyebrows I've ever had, but you know, there's no gaps, they're filled in, they're a decent colour. This one still looks thinner than this one. God, why? And it is the top that seems to be missing. I swear I don't touch when I'm plucking them. Okay, moving on. Last but not least, I've got a Instagirl Intense Liquid Lipstick Full Colour Satin Finish Vitamin E, and it is £2 for 4.5ml. This one is called Like That. So hopefully the vitamin E will be nice and moisturising, because as we're getting into winter, end of the year, my lips are getting quite chapped, and I'm hoping that helps. And this is another label that does not want to come off. Yippee! Okay. So it's got that double-sided doe foot applicator that seems to be the fashion now, I guess. Let's see. It's there I need. Okay. These applicators are quite good for like lining and getting the edges of your lip precisely. I do like them for that. although this particular one seems to have picked up a lot of product, and that is quite a slippery feeling liquid lip rather than some feel more gel-like now, I would say. And that mascara should be dry to flake off, or not. Fantastic. Not happy. Drying a whole brow since you, how can you not be dry? Okay. So that is my full face using Primark, almost. Quite like the look we've ended up with, actually. The lips are growing on me, so I guess we'll see how everything wears. It is 10:30 just now, so I am going to go about my day, and yeah, we'll just see how it all holds up. Particularly interested in the concealer, because it actually went on quite nicely. It's done a nice job, and a 90p concealer option would be totally fine. The blusher, I don't see myself reaching for again already, just because it's quite sheeny. The eyes, I'm really liking. The highlighter, didn't get much of a play with because of the sheeny blush, but seems nice. And yeah, anyway, we'll come back, we'll see how it's held up. Okay, so I'm back. It is now 7:20, so I've had this on for about 8 hours now. So I'm just going to zoom in and we'll go through things one at a time and talk about how they are holding up. So let's start with the eyebrows, since they're being a bit of a feature. So I'm still not in love with this colour. I think it is a little bit warm for me. I think I need a little bit more control than just this pencil on its own, because they're a little bit on the bushy looking side, but the pigment has stayed. The shape isn't great, but that's my fault, not the products. So overall, for £1, not bad. Definitely something that you could, if you're used to using pencils, you could reach for this and just put a good brow gel over the top and you'd be good to go. Continuing with the eyes, the shadow is a little bit worn. You know, they've sort of melded together just a little bit too much, I think. But overall, still pigmented, still got that sheen on the lid. It's more the crease I feel has went a bit paler, almost maybe picked up some of the shimmer from the lid, and it isn't looking as defined as it did earlier. Nevertheless, from a distance, it still looks perfectly presentable. The inner corner highlight we put on is still there, which is unusual for me. The liner is still there. We got a tiny bit there. New. Yeah, the liner's still there. Sorry, I'm imagining things. I have got a bit of black smudging and flaking under my eyes, which I'm putting down to the mascara because of the flaking and the fact that the liner is all still intact, whereas the mascara is feeling a little bit dry and clumpy. Like when I run my lashes through, I can actually feel texture and lumps like this guy. So not in love with the mascara. Eyeliner, can't knock it. Definitely think it would look cooler with a fully matte eye. So foundation wise, we all know that I love this foundation and it can do no wrong, and it is my holy grail and I will always constantly be reaching for it. The primer, I think this is done not bad actually. My nose looks a little bit shiny and a little bit worn, but actually significantly less shiny than it normally does. And I was at the cinema wearing my glasses and my glasses marks look less bad than normal. So somewhere between this primer and this powder, there is a winner. And I'm looking forward to like switching them in with my normal products and finding the best combination. But in general, these guys seem to do a really good job for the price that they are. I mean, my forehead's got a little bit of shine, but if you've seen my other videos, nothing compared to them. Just nothing. So cheek wise, we know the contour wasn't Primark, so we'll just leave that. The blusher, which kicked off a heck of a lot of powder, it's still there, it's still nice, it's still definitely very sheeny, so if you don't like that, definitely not a product to go for. I can maybe see myself using this. Again, it is a pretty colour. I just wish it was a bit more matte, which is, to be honest, how it looks in there. It doesn't look like it's going to have that much sheen, but it does. The highlighter, we used that partially in the inner corner, but I don't really see it, and I don't see a lot on my cheeks. I'm pretty sure that what's left in here is more from the shadow than this, so maybe not the greatest highlighter in the world. If you want a budget highlighter, where I put it, Makeup Obsession has an amazing one for £3, so same price, slightly less product I think, but hey. So last but not least, the lips. These did wear off because I had food when I was out, but I feel like it's left a stain. Like, I think my lips are closer to this colour than, well, you can see on the inside. They're normal colour. So this actually seems to leave a bit of colour behind. My lips do actually feel more comfortable than they did this morning, so that vitamin E in there has definitely done something, so that is a win. So overall, oh, and the concealer, I didn't mention the concealer separately, but I still feel like the bags under my eyes are considerably covered up. Everywhere else I put the concealer has really good coverage, apart from my nose, which is my one absolute impossible area. So hang on, I'm sorting into like wins and not wins and kind of neutral. So, wow, actually I don't have a lot of not wins. Hey, cool. Okay, so mascara, not a win. I didn't feel like it really done a huge amount, and then it's flaked off and smudged. The blusher and the brow pencil, nothing wrong with them as products, it's down to personal preference. If you're somebody that likes using pencils and uses a brow gel on top for more control, this is good for you, or if you don't need really help with control. And if you don't mind your blushes a bit sheeny, these are really nice, they're pigmented and they last, and they're £1.50. So the highlighter I'm not in love with, just, nah, I think there's better out there. So the winning pile is basically everybody else. So we're in love with the eyeliner, which I hope is the same formula as their normal one, not just exclusive to that set. I'm really liking the shadows for £3, and it's a really quite classy looking case. The powder, I'm far less oily than normal. The primer, I'm less oily than normal. The concealer, I think it's done a great job, and for 90p, God, you could have one for every handbag and never be caught out with surprise spots appearing. And the lipstick, I'm actually tempted to go and find other colours on this because it's left a stain, which is my favourite trait in a lips product, and I feel more comfortable. So overall, this has been a really positive experience. I had one other little thing from Primark that I wanted to like share with you guys, and it's this. Look, it's a blotting paper roll with a tear off bit on it. How cool is that? So this is also from the workout collection with the powder in it. And I also blot down the shine that we do have. And I quite like that you can choose how much paper you need, because I usually find I need more than one blotting sheet, but I always feel like I'm kind of wasting the second one as well. But that's done a really nice job of getting rid of that shine. And then I found earlier that when I was touching up that mascara mark, that I could actually, this is such a creamy, nice concealer, that I can almost just dot and it adds a bit of coverage, which is nice. So it almost taps itself blended in. So I'm happy with the things that I discovered today, and I definitely recommend that everybody checks out the Primark makeup stuff. Even if you're not on a budget, like some of this stuff I genuinely really enjoy and have enjoyed more than some high-end products that I've tried. So if you've got any questions about these, leave them down below and I will get back to you. And if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, it really helps me out. And I'll see you later. Bye.